So I just did a video actually about why the MCU and DC, the difference between the MCU and DC when it comes to the MCU's success and DC's failing, and the lessons that DC hasn't learned from that. So if you want to check out that video, please do. It'll be up right after this video. But as far as this video is concerned, I praised Marvel in that video. And I've praised Marvel in a lot of different ways. I feel like Marvel's world building skills is next to none. But something about this Phase 4 and Shang-Chi and Black Widow, a lot of it just feels like movies that they're just pushing out there. It feels like movies that they're not really into, you know. They feel like movies that they're doing it, maybe throwing darts at the wall. And it seems like they even kind of got that feeling. And now Kevin Feige is now on the defense because of things that Marvel Studio has said themselves, calling it an experiment, basically. Let's go ahead and let's read this article. It says, during the Disney investor call, Disney CEO Bob Chapek called the theatrical release of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings an interesting experiment in regards to theatrical distribution and if audiences will turn out in large numbers even as the pandemic cases rise. Star Simu Liu took to his social media to defend Shang-Chi, noting that the film is not an experiment but an underdog. The comment caused a great deal of controversy, which has been made worse with the early projections for Shang-Chi, putting it as the lowest MC debut since The Incredible Hulk, which is, by MCU standards, incredibly bad. If it's worse than Black Widow, then I don't know what the MCU is going to do. But just the idea that they would that they're like, well, it's an experiment. You already got the experiment with Black Widow. Why would you do it again? Like that's what doesn't make sense to me. They already know that China's not going to back this film. They know that. They know that the Eternals is going to be an utter failure, which might even be lower than this one. There's so many different things that when they say the word experiment, I understand why Simu Liu is kind of a little bit pissed off by this, because he's like, wait a second, you're the MCU. You are Disney here. You already had this experiment of, will fans turn out for Black Widow? If they weren't going to turn out for Scarlett Johansson, who was an Avenger with Black Widow, they're not going to turn out for Simu Liu's Shang-Chi that most comic book fans don't know. Much less the average fan. I don't know who this character is, to be honest with you. I know very little bit about it. I'll be flat out honest. I know very little bit about it. The things I've seen in the previews of it have not made me go, I want to know more about this guy. I don't want to know that much more. I will go and watch this simply so that I can review it. But I'm not going to the theaters because I'm like, I have to watch this MCU film. There's nothing about that film or Black Widow or the Eternals. Any of those films sound terrible to me in so many different ways. Now I admit, first 30 minutes of Black Widow, I thought I was completely wrong. And then that movie just completely and totally fell apart. If this movie is worse than that, Lord help them. I don't know what the MCU is going to do. But anyways, it says, on Monday, August 16th, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings had its world premiere in Los Angeles, where the stars and creators got to speak to the press as they walked the red carpet. According to Marvel Studios President Kevin Feige via THR, Feige noted that the comment on the film being an experiment was a misunderstanding. He mentioned how Marvel Studios put their full support behind the film and everything is up on the screen. Feige said in regards to Liu's tweet, and the whole situation regarding the movie as an experiment, he is not a shy man. I think in that particular tweet, you can see, and I think everyone does, a misunderstanding. It was not the intention. The proof is in the movie, and we swing for the fences as we always do with the amount of creative energy we put in and the budget. There's no expense spared to bring the origin story to the screen. So when he says he's not a shy man, is he attacking Simu Liu? In that regard, like it kind of feels like he is. Like it's a complete and total misunderstanding. I mean, he even says it in the tweet. It's a complete misunderstanding. Marvel's fully behind this movie. We're not using this as an experiment. I don't think they're using it as an experiment either, to be honest with you. I feel like once China really, said we want no part of this, I think Marvel just kind of looked at it, well, we can't make money off this. No one here in America knows anything about this guy. No one in China knew about this guy either, nor cared. This movie's not going to, be a hit over there, so it's definitely not going to be a hit over here. So they're not going to be able to recoup the money that they spent on this film. That's very clear that they're not going to begin this. I don't think that means that it's an experiment. I think they're looking at it and going, you know what? This is going to be back-to-back failure. Black Widow, Shang-Chi, this is going to be back-to-back. And then if you add the Eternals to this, I mean, it's just going to be, it's going to go from a black eye on Marvel to just looking like a franchise is in decline, like the whole MCU is in decline. That's the way it looks to me in a lot of different ways. And you know what? Unlike DC, which has been successful to a certain extent when it comes to like the Arrowverse, Superman and Lois, and so forth, and even the Titans is a pretty good one. Marvel doesn't have that. I enjoyed Loki. I did. I enjoyed WandaVision. I thought WandaVision completely failed me at the very end. And I thought Loki was good, but it wasn't great. None of those feel like they're changing very much. For me, interest-wise. So, yeah, Marvel, I think, is starting to feel the heat from this. And I think they're kind of looking at, if we can't make money off of it in a theatrical release, then what we can do is maybe build up our subscription base when it comes to Disney Plus, if it's on there. I think that's what they're thinking. And plus, I can always say, wait a second, yeah, it was theatrical and Disney Plus release, so therefore, of course, it wasn't going to do as good. I think that's how they're going to spin it. I think they enjoy spinning it that way. I think they have no choice at this point. But at the same time, it looks like there might be possible lawsuits that's going to be going down the line when it comes to some of these actors and actresses when it comes to Shang-Chi, if they do the Disney Plus release on that too. Very similar to what Scarlett Johansson did to them. Because, look, no one likes being on a sinking ship. And right now, I guarantee you, Scarlett Johansson would not have sued if she thought the MCU was at the pinnacle of success. She would not have sued if she thought that. She sued because she knew that it was failing. She knew that it was maybe possibly outdated to a certain extent, that its time had passed it by. And that's when she gave out this lawsuit. I'm not saying they didn't do her wrong or any of that. I'm not saying any of that. That's a completely different subject. What I'm saying is no one would challenge it at its height, but on its downfall, everyone's going to challenge it look for that in, with the Shang-Chi actors and actresses as well, if it comes out in the exact same way as what it came out with Black Widow on Disney Plus and in theaters. Would not shock me if you see more lawsuits down the line. Now, that's just my prediction. Just my prediction when it comes to that. But guys, let me know what y'all think. Do you feel do you feel like Kevin Feige even clarified that it's, the whole experiment thing? Do you think it's an experiment? It doesn't feel like an experiment to me. They already went through that with Black Widow. Why would they keep doing another experiment, with another movie? And then what are they going to say about the Eternals? Are they going to call that an experiment as well? I think that's an excuse. I think it's a really bad excuse. I think this guy actually said what he thought. And Kevin Feige is having to try to walk it back to save face a little bit. But Kevin Feige knows that without China's support on it, it's dead. It's dead. So it's dead on arrival. It's not going to make any money. It's probably going to be even worse than what Black Widow is. Doesn't matter how good it is or how bad it is at this point. It just doesn't matter. No one's going to come out and see it. But guys, let me know what y'all think down below. As always, thanks for watching. Y'all take care.